What happens when one sentence becomes the biggest story on the internet? One live stream, one unexpected comparison, and suddenly thousands of people were arguing over the same question. Some called it hilarious. Others said it crossed the line. Then the names involved made the debate even bigger. After Tasha K compared Claressa Shields to Medicaid and Remy Ma to Blue Cross Blue Shield, social media exploded. So was it just entertainment, or did this controversy go too far? Let's break it all down. Welcome back to Tea with Sienna, where the tea is always hot, the receipts stay ready, and we never sugarcoat a thing. If you love celebrity drama, hip-hop news, and trending entertainment stories, make sure to subscribe. Now, let's get into today's story. When I saw Claressa Shields featured in the thumbnail, I immediately became curious about what Tasha K had to say this time. That alone was enough to make me click. At first, I assumed the discussion would be centered around something from the BET Awards, but the conversation went in a completely different direction and quickly became much more interesting. If you want to hear the full exchange for yourself, you can check it out on Tasha K's platform. Just skip ahead to the part where the image of Papoose giving Claressa a piggyback ride appears, because that's where this segment really takes off. From the start, Tasha K was reacting to Claressa's interview in her own way, even breaking into R. Kelly's Half on a Baby as she shared her thoughts on the situation.
Did you know Claressa sent me a cease and desist? Y'all probably knew because she was in the comments on my videos saying, okay? And so here's what I'm going to do in terms of the cease and desist. So my lawyers have been going back and forth with her lawyer, and we've been trying to figure out what was actually said that was defamatory. Now, there was one thing that I did see that was mentioned that could be grounds for any type of lawsuit. But we have since corrected that. And so let me tell you what happened, right, before we get into the specifics of why we're here. All right, because this is my formal apology to the GOAT.
During the interview, Claressa once again talked about wanting to have a baby next year, something she's mentioned more than once before. Tasha K immediately turned that into a running joke, using lyrics from R. Kelly's Half on a Baby to kick off her commentary. She kept singing the chorus before joking that Papoose would first have to finalize his divorce from Remy, adding that he still hadn't done it. The remarks quickly grabbed people's attention. After that, Tasha K showed a clip of Claressa walking through the BET Awards. Watching it, I initially wondered if she'd been moved to better seats, because that sometimes happens at major events when empty seats closer to the stage become available or are filled at the last minute. That was honestly my first thought. The way everything unfolded made it seem like they had been moved from the upper seating area to a section much closer to the well-known guests. Whether that actually happened or not, that was simply the impression people were discussing. Tasha K then shifted the conversation, saying she thought it looked unusual to see Claressa attending the event alongside a man who is still legally married. From there, she has delivered the comparison that immediately got everyone talking. She joked, "Why would Pap give up Medicaid?" before comparing Claressa Shields to Medicaid and describing Remy Ma as Blue Cross Blue Shield. That analogy instantly became one of the most talked about moments from her commentary. Tasha K even explained that she mentioned Blue Cross Blue Shield because it's the insurance provider she personally uses, making it part of her comparison. She continued expanding on the analogy by bringing up other companies, including Cigna, to reinforce her point. Throughout the discussion, her argument remained the same. In her view, Remy Ma represented the wife with the security and long-term commitment, while Claressa Shields was being compared to Medicaid because she wasn't the spouse. Tasha also shared her belief that a divorce only becomes final when both husband and wife have truly accepted that the marriage is over. At one point, Tasha K initially said, "If Remy Ma lets go," before quickly correcting herself and saying, "If Pap lets Remy go." That change in wording caught my attention because it showed she believed the decision ultimately rested with the two people in the marriage. The discussion then returned to Claressa Shields' radio interview, where Claressa talked about wanting to have a baby with Papoose next year and said it was something they both wanted. Tasha K immediately reacted to those comments and used them to continue her critique. She also took aim at Claressa's appearance during the interview, joking that her makeup looked off and saying her foundation appeared gray. Tasha K doubled down on the joke, saying Claressa looked casket ready and questioning why Papoose hadn't told her that her makeup needed fixing. She continued making fun of her appearance, calling it a complete mess. Later, when Claressa explained why she wouldn't be having a baby this year, Tasha could be heard reacting in the background by saying, "And you can't, and you won't." The commentary remained sharp from beginning to end. Tasha also suggested that although the relationship has been public for about 2 years, she believes it actually started at least a year before anyone knew about it. According to Tasha K, that's how she believes the timeline actually unfolded, arguing that much more may have been happening behind the scenes than the public knew. She then pointed to questions that have circulated online for quite some time, asking who had been messaging Remy, requesting styling advice, closely following her social media activity, liking her posts, and keeping track of what she was doing. Tasha also suggested that someone appeared to know details about Remy's schedule, including when she was traveling, when she was home, and what projects she was working on. According to Tasha K, that same level of attention eventually extended to Papoose's schedule as well. She went on to claim that behind the scenes, Claressa was closely following aspects of Remy's lifestyle, from her fashion choices to the fragrances she wore and other personal preferences. Tasha argued that if Papoose truly wanted the divorce finalized, it would have happened by now, saying the length of the situation speaks for itself. To reinforce her point, she compared it to a similar experience within her own family, explaining that in that case, the marriage was never officially dissolved, even after another relationship entered the picture. Tasha K used that family story to explain why she believes some long-term situations don't always end in divorce, even when people assume they will. Then the live stream took an unexpected turn. While she was talking about the situation and mentioning one of her relatives, that same relative suddenly called in. As Tasha filled them in on the discussion surrounding Papoose, Remy, and Claressa, the relative interrupted and joked that she was being a little too messy. The unexpected exchange brought some humor to the live stream, with the caller making it clear that certain family business wasn't meant to be shared with everyone. After the call ended, Tasha K said she might eventually interview those relatives so they could share their side of the story. She explained that in their view, the wife shouldn't have to watch someone else benefit from everything she had spent years helping to build. Based on everything that's been said publicly, I personally don't believe Remy Ma is the one delaying the divorce. Over the years, she's repeatedly stated that she was ready to move on from the marriage. And she's even shared stories about packing up Papoose's belongings as part of that process. Even so, the situation continued dragging on instead of reaching a clear conclusion. Based on previous public statements, Papoose had allegedly stopped helping with household expenses, was reportedly sleeping on the couch for a period, and the marriage appeared to be breaking down long before everything became public. From my perspective, Remy seemed emotionally ready to move on well before the headlines started. Even after the controversy involving Easy the Block Captain became widely discussed, the divorce still wasn't finalized, leaving many people wondering why. Some even pointed to reports that Remy and Papoose attended a dinner with Fat Joe before everything reportedly fell apart again, leading to speculation that reconciliation may have been considered at one point if those reports were accurate. Any hope of reconciliation didn't appear to last. Based on the public allegations and ongoing speculation, many believed there were still unresolved issues and other relationships, creating even more distance between them. A relationship can only move forward if trust is rebuilt, but when the same concerns continue to surface, it's easy to understand why people begin losing faith in that possibility. That's one reason this story has remained such a major topic, with many wondering whether real progress was ever being made or if the same pattern simply kept repeating. Tasha K went on to argue that if the public allegations were true, it was hard to understand why someone would suddenly change after everything that had already taken place. She questioned why a spouse would decide to do the right thing only after so much drama had unfolded, making that one of the central themes of her commentary. Tasha also claimed that Papoose has the most to gain by remaining married and suggested that finalizing the divorce could mean giving up certain benefits. Throughout the discussion, she kept returning to the same conclusion. If Papoose truly wanted to end the marriage, she believes the divorce would have already been finalized. Another point Tasha K kept coming back to was Papoose's actions. She argued that if he truly wanted to leave the past behind, nothing was stopping him from covering his tattoo of Remy, deleting old birthday and anniversary tributes, or removing the countless memories still visible online. To Tasha, those things remain because he chose to leave them there. She believes those decisions reveal more than his public statements ever could. Looking at the situation as a whole, Tasha suggested that Papoose may have eventually realized everything didn't turn out the way he expected. In her opinion, that's exactly why this story still feels unfinished and why the relationship remains surrounded by so many unanswered questions. As the live stream came to a close, Tasha K returned to the same analogy that had fueled the discussion from the beginning. She once again compared Claressa Shields to Medicaid and Remy Ma to Blue Cross Blue Shield, saying it perfectly reflected how she viewed the situation. Tasha also claimed that, in her opinion, Claressa wasn't pushing Papoose to finalize the divorce, making that one of her main takeaways. She then pointed to what she saw as a change in Claressa's language, noting that she now refers to Papoose as separated rather than saying he's getting divorced. That subtle difference quickly became another talking point, with many people debating whether the change in wording meant anything at all. That's today's tea. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Tasha K's Medicaid versus Blue Cross Blue Shield comparison was simply entertainment, or did it go too far? And after everything that's happened, do you believe Papoose will eventually finalize his divorce, or will this story continue making headlines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I read every one of them. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Tea with Sienna, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest celebrity tea. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.